What's up, YouTube? This is Big Mike. I was looking at NBC earlier, and about 15 minutes ago, maybe 20 minutes ago, I saw a report saying that the Treasury Department has announced that they will remove the image of President Andrew Jackson from the $20 bill and be replacing it with um, the image of Harriet Tubman, who was very prominent in the abolitionist movement, and more importantly, the Underground Railroad, which was a system that was set up in place during the mid-19th century, which moved many escaped slaves to freedom in the North. And it's interesting this came up because it's a program come on WGN called Underground that I advise many of you to watch, which is a great show, and it shows, although it's not entirely historically accurate, but still it's an entertaining show, and it shows kind of like exactly what went on during that time period. But I know it's going to be controversial. I know there's going to be some losers in the United States who are going to be upset about this. But I'm going to talk about Andrew Jackson for a moment. Now, Andrew Jackson was a popular figure in his time. He was the first president who was the man of the people. You know, the first 6 presidents we had in this country: Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, and Quincy Adams. They were all what you would consider more aristocratic, almost by American standards. Washington being, per inflation, perhaps the richest man ever to become president, him or John F. Kennedy. All these men were not commoners. Andrew Jackson was the first president to ever be born in poverty. So he was the man of the people. When he was elected president the first time in 1828, he won 56% of the vote, which stood as an all-time record for 76 years. However, as we move on through time, we observe and learn more about Andrew Jackson as a person. There's a lot to be despised. He was a racist. Okay, he was a slave owner. He was supposedly, by most accounts, somewhat nasty toward his slaves. I might be incorrect, but I don't think he even had in place to give any of his slaves freedom upon his death. He was horrible and horrific in his treatment of Indians. When he was a general in the army, he would capture the Indians, that were captured. He would scalp them and bragged about this. He initiated one of the worst acts in our country's history, the Indian Removal Act of 1830, which was a law which forced the removal of Indians from the native land further west. These Indians on their way further west were many of them subsequently died. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands, probably tens of thousands. And this was called a Trail of Tears. And to me, this act and this movement forcing Indians further west was the genesis of what became known as Manifest Destiny, which was a belief by many whites in this country that they should be able to conquer the entire North American continent from east to west. Andrew Jackson, to me, has a mixed legacy, and to me, in my opinion, I think he was horrible in a lot of ways. So to remove him is a good thing, and to put Harriet Tubman, a champion for human rights and a champion in the abolitionist movement in the 1850s and into the 1860s, is a great thing. And Sojourner Truth truly was one of the pioneers in this country as far as human rights is concerned. To show tremendous bravery for a black woman born into slavery and died as a free person, truly respected in American history. And today she receives a just due recognition, I should say, as being on the $20 bill. I know there's going to be some people in this country who are going to be angered by that, but look, hey, symbolism. It may be just symbolism, but it's still an accomplishment. Tell me what you guys think.